During 2020, we have been in an interregnum at St Giles, and throughout the year, we have been publishing short 30-second interviews with members of our congregation and wider community. And as we prepare to welcome our new rector early in the new year, it seems only fitting that the final interview of the series should be with the man himself, Revd Tom Sander. So in this video, we're going to take a few minutes to get to know Tom a bit better. And so, welcome, Tom.
Thank you, Will. Hello.
First of all, perhaps you can tell us a bit about your current parishes and how long you've been there.
So at present, I'm the vicar of Flamstead and Markgate, that are two little villages on the outskirts of Hertfordshire, just at the end of the Chilterns. It's a beautiful part of the world, and I suppose our nearest town would be St Albans. So I've been there 7 years. The parishes are quite busy places. We've undertaken some quite significant building projects, sorting out the church and putting in facilities, restoring the roof, putting in a new pipe organ. And on top of all of that, we've done quite a lot of missional stuff, getting the numbers up, coming to church, and reaching out to people in the community, doing all those things that good village churches manage to do, and bringing people together. Giving them a sense of joy in their faith, taking people to that next level in their understanding of their faith. We've done lots of trips away, retreats, quiet days, had guest speakers come in to do evensong. It's been good, been a busy time.
Great, and how have you found this strange year of pandemic and lockdown?
I mean, it's just really been odd. I think that the observation I've made amongst my colleagues is that we spend our time as ministers bringing people together, in a physical way. If there's a problem or something that needs fixing, we put on an event and we bring people to us, to the church. The pandemic has stopped that gathering, and it's meant that we've had to sort of put ourselves out there, which has been quite a step change for a lot of people. It's been good in the sense that actually, certainly in Flamstead and Markgate, the church has really stepped up to the challenge of loneliness, isolation, dealing with some of the areas of poverty in the two parishes. And actually, out of all the things that we've done over 7 years in terms of mission and reaching out to people, this time has been the real fruitful time when people have really related to what the church is about and the Christian message. And I think there's a lesson to be learnt in that, actually, that doing stuff for other people, being there for other people, is the most valuable thing we as the church can offer to our world and to our parishes. So that's a lesson I think I've learnt. Personally, it's been a time of reflection, spiritual growth. I've had a bit more time to read, less time taken up with meetings and other bits and pieces like that. So, more time to sort of think about the direction of the church. And somewhere in all of that, I decided to apply for a job as well. So, which fortunately I got.
Indeed. Well, we're very, very pleased that you did. And in your interview, you mentioned that when you're not about your duties, you are a keen long-distance cyclist. So maybe you can tell us a bit about what it's like to tackle those trips and where you've been.
Yeah, I mean, everyone has their own hobby, as it were. Mine is cycling, so I do a lot of cycling. I am going out cycling today, Friday. I've taken today as a sort of rest day, and I don't have any collar with me, so otherwise I would be dressed perhaps a little more formally. But I am going out cycling today. Long distance cycling, yeah, I just think it's a really good way to sort of clear the deck, a good way to stay fit and healthy. Being in the church is quite a calorific career choice. Everyone wants to feed you all the time, particularly in villages. So I've got to burn it off somehow. Yeah, I've cycled to Spain. I cycled to Santiago to do the sort of great St James pilgrimage. That was a couple of years ago. 2 years ago, cycled to Rome from Canterbury, which was lovely. And the plan was last year to do Rome to Istanbul, and then that fell through for one or two reasons in the parish, and then the plan was to do that this year, but of course, you know, a global pandemic means no travelling at all. But this year I have done Lambton to John O'Groats, which was something that everyone said I should do, and I did that, which was nice. I just love it. But I'm not the sort of person who you'll see bombing around the lanes all the time. You know, I'm a sort of continental cyclist, really, I suppose.
Okay, so it's a sort of it's exercise, but it's also a sort of form of pilgrimage.
Yeah.
And in your interview, you also mentioned that before you had a calling to ordination, you fancied the idea of being an architect. Has that proved a useful interest in your vocation?
I mean, I like, you know, I have a real eye for church buildings. You know, one of the things I'll do quite a lot of in my time off is go looking around other churches and church crawling. So I like historical architecture, but also thinking about creative ways of using our buildings for wider community use, as indeed they always were. You know, it's really only you know, in the 1700s and certainly in the Victorian period that the church became sort of the big preaching box to make sure people were behaving properly, morally. You know, they've always been sort of community spaces. So yeah, I mean, and I did quite a lot of the designing for the stuff that's been put into Flamstead, which people seem to like, which is good. So I've always wanted to sort of explore how buildings are put together and the shape of them. And I think I've used that skill quite a bit in church. And I know that we've got plans at St Giles for the crypt and all sorts of other bits and pieces. So I look forward to having a role in bringing those ideas to the fore.
Excellent. And finally, you're not having far to move from Hertfordshire to London. How are you feeling about the move to the big smoke?
I mean, it's going to be very different, and everyone has said that. I've never lived in London before, and I've always been a country vicar. You know, I've always been used to the idea of everywhere I go, everyone knows who I am, for better or for worse. Popping into the pub and knowing everyone by name. It's not going to be like that in London. You know, I do plan to get very much involved in the parish of St Giles. You know, I want to be known to the local community on first name terms. I think it's really important as ministers of the established church. But moving to London, yeah, I think it's going to be exciting though. What I'm particularly excited about is the idea that of an evening I can, if I'm not busy, I can meet up with friends really easily. I don't know why, but my friends that live in London, they have this sort of like problem when they leave Zone 1. They have a sort of allergic reaction to the wider world. And the idea of them getting a half-an-hour train ride up to St Albans and visiting me in my parish seems to be a complete anathema to them. So I'm looking forward to being a bit closer to some people I've missed for a time. It'll be different, but I look forward to it.
Great. Well, we're looking forward to it too. So you're going to be busy now packing up and moving in the next couple of weeks, and then you'll be with us from the beginning of February.
Indeed. Look forward to it.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for your time, and we look forward to seeing you soon.
Pleasure.